Two. How we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo. This is another episode of YoHoops. I go through every NBA game every day. Today's Monday, March 30th. We have an 8-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through my thoughts and let you know what sides I like, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. Recap yesterday. Not great. I went 3-5 on the 9-game card. Zaire Williams ended up not playing in the Nets game, so we didn't have any action there. It really came down to my last play with Jokic getting his rebounds and assists. He was one away, but the Nuggets ended up blowing them out, so they didn't really need him late. I'm now 109-109 on every game played in March. 2 days left, so I'm definitely looking to finish the month strong. In our first matchup of the evening, we have the Philadelphia 76ers in Miami taking on Miami Heat. Sixers are minus 130 on the money line, and the total is 244.5. We bet with Philly in that last game against the Hornets, and they look good considering it was Joel Embiid and Maxi's first game back. The Sixers are back at full strength, and I'd have to give them the slight edge tonight. The Heat have upgraded Norman Powell to questionable, so I am cautious in Miami, but Joel Embiid can dominate in the paint over Bam, and at this point, Philly has the slightly deeper team. Not one I'm rushing to the window with, but I'm taking the Sixers on the money line as my first selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Boston Celtics in Atlanta taking on the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks are minus 135 on the money line, and the total is 224. The Celtics come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Charlotte to Atlanta. Jaylen Brown sat out last night, but I can't lie, they look good against the Hornets. Defense was on 10, and they shot the 3 at a 41% clip. At first glance, I was leaning in their direction, but their injury report doesn't get any better, and they're on no rest. Jason Tatum is ruled out, then Neemias Queta is listed as doubtful. They're already shorthanded on bigs, so Queta and Tatum being out can definitely be an issue. The Hawks are the way deeper team tonight, and I can't overlook the fact that they're on a 15-2 run. We did just see the Celtics win this matchup on Friday, but Tatum had 26, 12, and 5, and we were in Boston. Different story tonight, I see the Hawks returning the favor in Atlanta. I'm taking the Hawks on the money line as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Chicago Bulls in San Antonio taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs are minus 2,000 on the money line, and the total is 244.5. The Spurs have been coming through, covering in their last 4 straight, but I'm still not in love with laying 18 points. The Bulls still have a few guys like Josh Giddey and Buzelis in the lineup. I can see them doing enough to sneak in a 16-point loss. The Bulls are officially out of the playoff race, but they're also so far ahead of the Nets that they can't move down. The only motivation they have is to play spoiler, so I can see them competing for a couple quarters in this one. I'll lean to the Bulls plus 18 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Phoenix Suns in Memphis taking on Memphis Grizzlies. Suns are minus 750 on the money line, and the total is 229. This game's definitely more important to the Suns in terms of standings, so I expect them to win it, but rather than taking a side, I'm looking at a prop. I'm taking GG Jackson to go over 17.5 points. I watched his post-game interview the other night, and he was talking about, I'm the closest thing to KD on the floor. I gotta respect that. He hasn't been going over recently, but he takes about 15 shots a game, so even if he shoots at a 50% clip, he's easily going over this total. We may even see some potential minutes in garbage time. I'm gonna lock it in as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves in Dallas taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Wolves are minus 310 on the money line, and the total is 235.5. The Mavs' best option right now is to tank, and that's kind of the vibe I get when I look at their IR. Daniel Gafford is ruled out, then Najee Marshall and PJ Washington are both listed as questionable. It might be Cooper Flagg in their second unit. I don't think that's enough against the Wolves, who are tied for 5th place. They need every win they can get. Even without Ant, they should be able to do enough to win this one by margin. I'm taking the Wolves laying the 7.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers in Utah taking on Utah Jazz. Cavs are minus 1,800 on the money line, and the total is 241. I definitely expect the Cavs to win this game, but it's hard to lay this big of a spread in Utah. Cleveland's just 16-10 against the spread on the road, and they're still playing through a few key injuries. Jared Allen, Max Strus, and Jalen Tyson are all ruled out. The Cavs play the Lakers tomorrow, so this is the front end of a back-to-back. I see them conserving minutes and probably winning this one by 12. I know Utah is severely banged up themselves, but we've seen guys like Ace Bailey and Sensabaugh step up in spots. I'm taking the Jazz plus the 16.5 is my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Detroit Pistons, Oklahoma City, taking on Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder minus 650 on the money line, and the total is 216.5. The Thunder come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, but no travel is remain at home. They got the dominant win over the Knicks last night. They should easily keep the momentum rolling. Once we see the Thunder in that playoff mode, there aren't many teams besides Boston or maybe the Spurs that can compete. The Pistons have Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Tobias Harris, and Duncan Robinson all ruled out. They probably lose this one by 30. They have played well banged up, but this is where I have to draw the line. I'm taking the Thunder laying the 12 as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Washington Wizards in Los Angeles taking on Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers are minus 1600 on the money line, and the total is 236. The Wizards come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Portland to Los Angeles. They got their asses kicked by the Blazers last night, but they have upgraded a few guys like Alex Sarr to questionable for this one. The big issue for me is Luka Doncic is suspended for getting his 16th technical of the season. We already know the Lakers heavily rely on the Don, so now you're hoping 41-year-old LeBron not only gets you a win, but does it by 20. Honestly, in crypto, the Lakers should get this one done, but I see it as a trap spot where the Wizards potentially give themselves a chance to win it. I'm taking the Wizards plus the 16 as my last and final selection. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm now even on the month 109 and 109. Let's finish these last couple days with a bang. I appreciate all the support so much. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'ma catch y'all. Peace!